Welcome everyone to the fifth of these sessions of meditation. Welcome back to those of you who've joined us at previous sessions, and just welcome to those of you who are joining for the first time. So it's great to connect with everyone again after all the wonderful sessions that we've had recently. So, and I hope everyone is doing well and staying healthy. So just as a quick introduction to this session, session 5, today is the first day. It is also the 85th day of this online meditation series. And the theme for this 21-day session that starts today is called The Joy of the Spirit, because, it is really important, or it's the essential thing is for us to feel and be truly joyful as people who meditate and people who are connected. So to introduce myself, my name is Sudeep Hegde. I live in Clemson in South Carolina. I work here as an assistant professor of industrial engineering at Clemson University. And I have been practicing Sahaja Yoga for almost 15 years now. So, before I introduce my co-presenters for today, I also want to acknowledge the dedicated team that is behind these sessions. First of all, the tech team, that we have over 15 people who are working behind the scenes who make this online format possible and help us get through these sessions so smoothly. So thank you all. And there's also more than 50 presenters who participate in these sessions, who lead these meditations. We've had more than 20 musicians and also more than 200 mentors who worked individually with many of you and other attendees in the past. Now, if you are new or if you've missed previous classes and you want to catch up, you can certainly watch recordings, and the links will be provided to you. We'll also be opening up breakout rooms in these Zoom sessions towards the end, where you can seek one-on-one help with mentors to work with. And if you've already been working with mentors, please know that you can always change mentors. You can request additional mentors as well. So you can have more than one mentors. All right, so let's now look at the schedule for today. Or the schedule for this course. So these sessions happen on every Thursday, Tuesday, and Sunday. And today, like I said, is the first of this 21-day series. And it ends on November 7th, which is a Tuesday. And in between, with the regularity.
Looks like we lost Sudeep there for a moment, unfortunately, and I'm sure he'll be back in just a second. But maybe while we're waiting for Sudeep to join us, we can, Igor and we can introduce ourselves. We're going to be helping with the presentations this evening. My name is Kristine K, and I live in Boston, Massachusetts, and I've been practicing Sahaja Yoga since the 1980s. I started quite young, so not that young, but and it's my privilege and my pleasure to be here with you tonight. Sudeep was mentioning all the presenters, and my role has been very, very small, but I can tell you that every time that I get the opportunity to do this, it's such a tremendous joy to be part of this program. So, Igor, how about you?
Yes, good evening, everyone, and pleasure to be here always. Yeah, I'm Igor Cyrilman. I live in Toronto, Canada, or Greater Toronto area in Canada, and I've been practicing Sahaja Yoga since 2010, so I comparatively very new, very fresh, but I got my realization here in Toronto. And we have a big collective group here, and we enjoying spreading Sahaja Yoga and practicing Sahaja Yoga collectively here. So, so I will be participating in today's program as well. Thank you very much.
We're looking forward to that. I can tell you for certain, I'm looking forward to it, and all of us will be. So I know Sudeep is working his way back through the technical difficulties, but he was explaining that we have an overall theme for these next 4 sessions, or the next 4. I'm not sure what is a session and what is a series anymore, but for the next 4 evenings, the next one will be on, today's Thursday, so the next one will be on Sunday. And the overall theme is of the joy of the spirit, which is also in the Sanskrit terms are the Sat, Chit, Ananda. Sat meaning truth, Chit meaning attention, and Ananda is the joy. And actually, all of these are qualities of the spirit, which we identify the location of the spirit as being in the heart on the left-hand side. So you can see how important that is to our overall well-being and to our process of going deeper in our meditation and in our spiritual evolution. So it's a beautiful topic to be concentrating on, and I'm sure that you're going to enjoy it, all that we have to present about that. So I'm just checking and seeing what Sudeep's status is. Okay, so Sudeep is making his way back. So I think what we'll do is maybe we'll go ahead with this evening's initial meditation, which involves, oh, there's Sudeep. Yay. Okay, so Sudeep, handing it back to you.
Sorry about that, and thank you, Kristine, for keeping the continuity.
No problem.
So, so I believe you were just introduced to the concept of Satchitananda. So we will meditate upon that today, starting with a foot soak. As we always do, we will start the meditation by raising the Kundalini, that energy, 3 times in this fashion. So the left hand simply comes up like this. The right hand starts from behind the left and then wraps around it in this fashion. So we're raising the energy. So we'll do this again. And the second time, we will tie 2 knots. And the third time, we will tie 3 knots. And then we will balance our chakras by moving the energy of the left to the right and the right to the left. So we'll start by bringing the right hand near the left hip, raising the energy of the left. We make an arch over the head and bring it all the way down the right. And then we'll retrace that path with the same hand, raise the energy of the right and bring it down the left. So this is the balancing of the first chakra. So we'll do this 6 more times because we have 7 main chakras along the central channel. Nice and slow, fluid motions. balancing each of our chakras one by one. And now we can use these vibrations that will be flowing through our hands by directing that energy towards the water. So we'll make these clockwise motions over the water if you have the foot soak set up in front of you. And then we can put both our feet inside. And now let's sit comfortably, the back straight if possible, hands open on our lap. And we'll take a few deep breaths. Allowing the attention to settle inward. To just watch your breathing. And as we inhale, let's pause for a couple of seconds before we exhale. And once we exhale, let's pause for a moment or two before we inhale again. As the attention becomes a little bit more stable, as we start to become aware of any sensations on our hands, we can bring attention to the top of the head. This is the fontanelle bone area. It's a part of our limbic system, the limbic part of the brain, where that subtle connection happens, where our energy, the kundalini, penetrates the seventh center known as the Sahasrara and connects us with the all-pervading power. So we can bring the right hand on top of the head and just push down the center of the head with the center of the palm. And let's stretch our fingers outward. And slowly massage this area, moving the hand clockwise around the scalp. Asking the subtle energy, the kundalini, to rise from its home in the sacrum bone, to come up and through our Sahasrara and give us that connection. Make me one with the whole. Let this limited being become one with the unlimited. Let me have my yoga. You can bring the right hand back down. Allow the attention to remain in that space just above the fontanelle bone. You may already feel a subtle flow or a lightness on your hands or on top of your head. And if not, that's okay too. Let's put the right hand down towards the earth next to us. Just let it hang by your side. And through the hand, let's connect with Mother Earth. Let's feel that connection. Like we're touching her. And let's feel that gratitude, that respect for Mother Earth. And ask her to absorb everything from our past that keeps her attention tied down. And bring the right hand back. Raise the left hand towards the sky. and ask the air and ether elements to absorb any heat, excess heat on the right energy channel. May our thoughts subside. Bring the hand down. Let's continue meditating in silence. Let's place the right hand on the left side of the heart. Just silently and confidently affirm to ourselves, I am the pure spirit. I am truth. I am pure absolute awareness. And I am unconditional joy in this. Satchitananda. Bring our hand back down. And slowly open our eyes. And conclude the foot soak by rinsing off our feet one by one. Taking it out of the water. And dry your feet with a towel if you have. We can set the bucket aside. Sit with our feet resting on the ground. So in the next part, we will listen to a talk by Shri Mataji, where she talks about the quality of joy, which is one of the qualities of the spirit, that is the Ananda. And she talks about how it is really a culture of joy that we need to get to. And to be the spirit is to essentially be joyful. So let's listen to talk.
Such a beautiful family we have created out of this beautiful universe. Now we have to maintain the beauty individually and collectively. Some people think that individually if you do something, that is all right. But if it is not related to the collective, it cannot be Sahaja. Anything that you do has to be related to the collective. Now to be individualistic is a trend in the modern times. And in that, how far we have gone into nonsense, that we know very well. Individuality is a personality within yourself, which has to be of different hues, of different colors, of different beauties. Like if you see the flowers, now every flower is different and individual. In its beauty, in its softness, in its fragrance, in its form, in its color, every leaf is different. But they adorn the whole forest, the whole garden, in such a beautiful manner that the whole thing works towards the collective. So the individuality is where we do not become like other people, exactly like military people as they are. The outside people may become like military people, but inside you become individual in the sense everybody has a different way of pleasing others, of teasing others, of loving others, of saying beautiful things. Everybody has a style of saying nice things and of offering your words of thanks and words of appreciation. This individuality is to be developed by all of you. That what is the new thing I can say to please? As people have seen every day think what fashion I should have, what sort of a fashion I should wear, how I should become more fashionable. Outside, if you can think, how can I be more fashionable inside myself? In India, fashionable has a different meaning. It doesn't mean we know in England. I think many people don't know that in England fashionable means popular. Here fashionable means out of the blue, something special, something extraordinary. is fashionable here. So if we could put our attention to this, how we could be more beautiful inside. When we are touching others' hearts, how we could be very pure in our expression, genuine in our expression, not artificially. Like we have seen also that when you are superficial, you will say, thank you very much, thank you very much, thank you very much. And you don't mean it. It's just a lip service. You don't mean it. But in Sahaja Yoga, when you want to thank you, see, it is really heartfelt. I mean, you say it from your heart. You have to put your hand on your heart, otherwise you just can't say it. It is that way that we should feel. And once you open that heart fully, opening of the heart is very important. And that unless and until you can do it, you cannot enjoy anything in Sahaja Yoga. Because the heart where resides the spirit, and it is the spirit that emits the joy. So if you do not have an open heart, and if you are just living on very superficial level, you can never enjoy Sahaja Yoga. And this enjoyment of Sahaja Yoga is something to be really achieved and to be enjoyed. Because that's why you are here for. There's nothing else to offer in Sahaja Yoga but the joy of life. And that is the essence of all the achievements of life. Everything we do for the joy, but whatever we do for joy, after some times we find it becomes a sort of a reaction. So there is very important point that to make our individuality beautiful, we should not immediately react to people. Should not give our own opinion, I don't like it, I don't want it. But we should absorb the beauty of another person. Now supposing there's a flower you get. Immediately you will see the beauty of the flower, you would like to take the fragrance of the flower. But suddenly you say, I don't like flowers. Then what can the flower do to you? So one should not react, and one should not have such subtle idea about your likes and dislikes. Because it's a joy killer habit. It's a joy killer habit. If you want to enjoy, take enjoyment from every person, like the bee which takes the honey from every flower. You must develop that sweet personality within yourself. And then only you will know what is sweet, what is good. And the enjoyment from one person to another, from one collective to another, from one city to another, from one country to another, will be just a beautiful, like a swing. It will be like a swing, going up and down, enjoying yourself. That's what is your real divine sensitivity. And the divine just wants to do that. It's working out so many ways of giving you photographs, giving you miracles, working it out and making you believe that you are in the kingdom of God. But if you have all these angularities and if you have all these ideas about yourself, then please try to neutralize them. Now some people also feel that mother is angry with us or some sort of thing. I can never be angry with you. For what should I be angry? But if you think like that, forget it. First of all, you must see that something wrong with me. That's why I think like that. I must put myself right. So just to judge yourself through such ideas, and it's only your mental projection. It has nothing to do with your heart. So again, today, the first thing we have to know that in our heart lies the power to absorb, to enjoy the beauty of spirituality. There's a beautiful shloka which I had told Mahatma Ji that he should put it first. He said, I was a very small girl, but he listened to me, which is a beautiful thing. Pratar namami. The first thing you have to say, Pratar namami rudhi sanspuradmatattvam Chit sukham paramahansa gatim turiyam. Meaning, early in the morning, I pray to that principle of my spirit. which is the truth, the attention, and joy, so that I should go to the highest state of my ascent. So opening of the heart is very important for all of us.
So let's just maintain the state of meditation to absorb the talk of Shri Mataji within our being, within our heart. We will just maintain this silence for a couple of minutes.
Thank you, Igor. So beautiful. So meditative. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So to continue our theme for this evening of the qualities of the spirit, and the Sat Chit Anand. There's another way that we can refer to the spirit, and that's by using the name of a particular deity, which is Shiva. So there's actually the Shiva principle is identical to the qualities of the spirit. It's another way to reference the qualities of the spirit. The images of Shri Shiva in the Eastern tradition, he's always meditating and he's always in bliss, complete bliss, regardless of anything that may be going on around. And that is a vivid image of when one is truly seated in your spirit and really established in the spirit. That is pretty much the way you feel. The pure state of existence. He represents the pure state of just existence, apart from anything that is external. And even the ancients used to say that you can't really describe what the spirit is. The best way to describe is just to say what it is not. It's not this body, it's not these thoughts, it is not the emotions, it is not anything that is external, with the made up of the 5 elements, but it is something much deeper than that. It's what remains when all of that is not removed exactly, but when all of that, you sort of go beyond it. So one of the ways that we can access and reference these qualities is through a beautiful verse or mantra, which if we can actually post that on the screen at this moment, which, as you can see, this Sat, Chit, Ananda, Rupam, and the Rupam means the essence or the form. And then Shivoham is basically a way of saying, I am the spirit. Shivoham, Shivoham. I am the spirit. I am the pure spirit. So what I'd like to do is do my best to actually sing this verse while we meditate. About 3 times usually we can sing through the 3 lines. Anyone who wants to join, who happens to be familiar with this, is welcome. And then after that, we'll stay in silent meditation for some time. So we can go back into our meditative state now. And if you would like to focus your attention onto your heart or onto the top of your head, it's just the same actually, because there's a correspondence between the left heart. You could say this is the home of the spirit, but this is the throne or the seat of the spirit. So there's a connection, there's a direct connection. So if you have your attention on your heart, then your attention is on your Sahasrara. If your attention is on your Sahasrara, then your attention is in the heart. So let's bring our attention inside, onto our heart. Satchitananda Rupam Shivoham Shivoham 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 we can just take a moment, bring your hand above your head, and feel for the flow of energy, the flow of the Kundalini. With your right hand first, then you can switch. Also check with your left hand. You can slowly open your eyes if you have not already. And we'll finish our meditation with the same movements that we started with, the raising the Kundalini, wrapping the right hand around the left hand as we raise both hands together, tying a knot, and again. We can tie 2 knots, and the third time. You can tie 3 knots. And then we put the protection or the balance around ourselves with our right hand by tracing an arc, starting from the left hip, right over our heads down to the right hip. And we do this 7 times. So thank you everyone for joining this evening. And we do have a few closing announcements. This ends the main portion of our program. So as we mentioned earlier, we are just beginning. This is our first evening of session 5, entitled The Joy of the Spirit. And we will be having programs Thursdays, Tuesdays, and Sundays. So the next program will be Sunday, and we'll be running straight through until Tuesday, November 7th. On Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, we have the End Your Day in the Silence of the Spirit, where we will have collective foot soak meditations, just 30 minutes at 8:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it's the exact same link that you used to join this program this evening. So for this evening, well, I should say on Sunday, we're going to focus on, we have the 3 elements of the qualities of the spirit, which is the Sat, the Chit, and Ananda. And tonight we sort of introduced all 3 of them. And for the next 3 days, we're going to be focusing on each of those 3 different qualities. So the session on Sunday, we will be focusing on the truth, the Sat. It's a quality of our spirit. And what does that really mean? So you can request a mentor by using the link that's in the chat. Please feel free to join our WhatsApp group if you are not already a member. But you can also join the WhatsApp group through on the same page where the sahajayoga.org/January 2023. There's a link there to join the WhatsApp group. And all of our sessions are recorded, and we also have other resources, handouts are available on that same website. Now this evening, if you would like to go to a breakout room to meet with a Sahaja Yoga teacher individually, in case you have personal questions, or if you want to be caught up to date, or like a review of what we've covered in the program so far, just type in the chat breakout room to breakout room help, that you would like to join a breakout room. And for those of you that would like to stay a little longer, we're also going to have sort of a sharing session for those of us that have been presenting this evening, Sudeep and Igor and myself. We invite you to join that session, which is just about to begin right now. As soon as our other presenters can please join back so that we can cover a few individual experiences and perspectives about the qualities of the spirit and what that means to us and how we experience that. So here's Sudeep again, thank you. And Igor, please join us again if you can. And what we're going to do is, there's Igor. Thank you, Igor. Welcome back. Welcome back, Sudeep. So we're going to just pose a few questions as a way of opening up this topic to how, we experience these qualities of the spirit, which can be somewhat elusive sometimes from my own perspective, hard to describe, but also very profound and a very universal experience. So the first question, and I'd like to give everyone a chance to answer this question as best they may, is how do you experience being one with your spirit in everyday life? And Sudeep, would you like to take that? Give us your perspective.
Yeah, it's interesting. I used to think of the spirit as a concept before I started to become more aware of it, or in a sense, realize it as a state of being. And like you said, when you described it so nicely earlier, the spirit is, you could describe it by in terms of what it's not. And so it becomes more and more evident when you're not in the spirit state. For instance, when you're feeling sad or anxious or worried, or there's some tension. On the flip side, when you're feeling overly happy about something or excited as well, but that time you're not thinking about it so much. But when you realize that and you're in that state of awareness, and that separation comes in between just your awareness and what you're experiencing, that detachment, I think, comes by practice, and when you realize that separation more and more, I think that spirit state becomes more and more a part of your experience. So that's been my experience.
Yeah, definitely. Igor, how about you? We're not hearing you at the moment. I think, are you on mute or?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, now we can. Yes.
Okay. Sorry. Yeah, I just wanted to add on. I agree with Sudeep, and also wanted to add. So, like, it's not a physical or any sort of conceptualized any concept, but I would say it manifests through I'm enjoying myself, my own company more, and enjoying things much more than it was before. And it is a gradual change. I mean, you cannot, it's like tree is growing, but you cannot really see it growing. So the things, you can only measure it by relative to what I was before and how I related to things before. But it's kind of spontaneously happening that enjoying things I'm doing, enjoying myself more, and being with my own company. Also, it's much more different than it was before, and also the witnessing state. I mean, yeah, it's not always, and it's not a 24/7. When you're able to, it's a beautiful feeling when you're able to witness your own actions or your own situations. That's also manifestation of the spirit. So yeah, I'm welcome everyone to experience, and inviting everyone to experience the new people who who are beginning their steps in Sahaja Yoga. It's definitely a joyful experience, and it's a wonderful journey.
So true. Yeah, I have to agree with both of those things. Both what Sudeep said about what it is not, and kind of being aware of what I like to sometimes say. Well, this is just the weather. Like this is temporary. This is a cloud passing through. Or sometimes, when Shri Mataji describes that the sun is always there, but sometimes the clouds pass through. So, as you become a little bit more adept at sort of identifying those moments when, when you're not the spirit, then it's easier to kind of get back and to say, well, if this is not this, I know this isn't it, this isn't the reality. And let me get back on, just go a little deeper. And for me, oftentimes that translates into just bringing myself into the present. It's another part of it. And interestingly, what you were saying, Igor, about being comfortable being with yourself, for me, that also means all of a sudden I feel like there's not a distance between me and others, the way I might otherwise put up like sort of a little bit of a, what you could say, sort of a defense, or just a little bit of a guarding, fence or something between me and others. But if I'm in more of a, closer to that state of being in the spirit, then I feel like just a much sweeter and just much more genuine relationship to people around me as well. So when that happens, I know I must be kind of close to it, because it's not really a natural state for me necessarily, but it's a real gift when it does happen.
Of course, it's a journey. And
yes. Yeah. Yep. It's a sort of like you're tuning the radio, you kind of go off a little bit this way and go off, and then you find that exact moment. So our next question, prompting question, is when we sort of addressed this, I think, in the previous question, but how do you bring your attention back to the spirit if you feel it's not there? Do you have any particular, little tricks or little methods, or Sudeep, what do you think?
Yeah, it depends, I think, on the situation and what is my non-spirit state at that time, so to speak. There's, sometimes it works to just let yourself experience whatever you're experiencing, and just lean into that experience. Then that witness state also comes in when you're not fighting something, for instance. And then you realize, and the tension or whatever non-spirit state you're in, it just tends to dissolve, even at the physical level. I've had this experience once where I was having high fever and delirium, and I wasn't able to, just random thoughts, I wasn't able to feel peaceful at all. And I just leaned into that, and within 10 minutes, I became thoughtless, and I had beads of sweat on my forehead, and the fever was just gone. And I felt so peaceful. So, and so that's one instance. But also, after Sahaja Yoga, I've realized that there's this amazing mechanism of the Kundalini itself. And when you put your attention on your Sahasrara, that's another way to become one with the spirit, because the Kundalini does that job of connecting you, breaking through the ego separation, and making your spirit one with the whole, so to speak. So now you have the added advantage of feeling that flow. And knowing that the spirit state is active, so to speak. So that also helps a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. Great story. Wow. Igor.
Yeah, Shri Mataji gave us a very practical formula, like like many other formulas. Like, where is my attention? Or who am I? Or so let's say I'm getting drifted to getting sucked into some situations, on some events, some maybe unpleasant events, or some uneasy situations or anything. Yeah, of course we are Sahaja yogis in progress. Things happen to us, not always consistent, but the difference is that at some point, we have the tools to bring us back. If we go, not preventing us from going too far getting too far into the situation where we don't want to be. So let's say, yeah, if we drifted into some mental trip or ego trip or any other situations, I personally find it a great tool to work for me, that I just I stop for a moment and I ask, who am I? Okay, where is my attention? Or even talking to your Kundalini, like we should remember that it's intelligent motherly energy. She's waiting for us. She's communicating with us in her own way, and we can also communicate with her. And if I'm getting too much involved into some situations, or if anything happens, I very often I find it practical, helpful to talk to my Kundalini energy, to ask Kundalini energy to bring me back, to silent state, to peaceful state, and all that, and basically, which is the spirit state.
Yeah.
So basically down to ground practice, just to remember who we are, remember what instrument we have, and use it.
Yeah.
As simple as that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so powerful. I completely agree. I think it's easy to underestimate, because the Kundalini is so gentle. I think it's easy to underestimate how powerful it is. And when, as you say, putting your attention on your Kundalini, or speaking directly to your Kundalini, and just remembering, yeah, the Kundalini is there, it's always with you. It's always there. I can say, just speaking for myself, that I do have some little external things that sometimes help me, just like earlier, Sudeep, we did the deep breathing. And that helps me a lot if I really need to just sometimes, take a few breaths, and it's kind of like you're saying, is stopping for a moment. Whatever it is I'm doing, or whatever it is I'm experiencing, let's just stop that for a moment. And that helps me bring my attention into the present. And then I can go to those next steps of putting my attention onto my Kundalini, or, putting attention onto the Sahasrara, onto the topmost chakra, because, your attention is kind of, the Kundalini doesn't really, she responds to your attention. So she's not going to necessarily rise beyond where your attention. So if you put your attention, at the topmost point, then you're not limiting, with your own temporary struggles, not limiting what she can do for you. So that's helpful for me. Sometimes, if I have a grassy lawn nearby, just going on out and sitting on the earth, it's another way for me to just stop whatever else is going on. There's nothing else that's more important than this right now. It's just, sit on the earth, put my hands on the earth, let's look at the sky, and just remember, what's really what reality is. So again, those are sort of external ways for me to get back inside, in addition to all of the other pointers.
Yeah, breathing, actually, that's a very powerful tool. I agree. It's breathing, it's another tool we were giving. We're giving many tools.
Yes,
But
yes.
that breathing exercise, absolutely 100%.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even the mantras are great tools too. Like saying Satchitananda, I'm the spirit. Even though it's just you're just verbalizing it, because it's the truth, it resonates, and the spirit acts. It comes alive, so to speak.
Yeah, and that was actually something I forgot to mention earlier when we were talking, when I was sort of introducing the Satchitananda as a mantra, that, those words carry tremendous vibrations. So yes, in the moment you may just feel, well, I'm just saying this, but it becomes something much more real and much more powerful in that moment, because they're vehicles for the vibrations. And they are also aspects of the truth. Again, as soon as you access something that is the truth, you have, you get that flow of vibrations, you get that that benefit, that tremendous benefit and assistance, you could say, the support of the vibrations. So, yeah.
Very good.
So we have one more question here. It's a lovely one, beautiful question. What does joy of the spirit mean to you? So joy of the spirit being, the title of this series that we're on right now. But what does that mean to you? And, again, this is all just from our various perspectives. It seems sort of obvious what that might mean, but are we experiencing things that when that phrase is suggested, then what does that mean? What does that bring to mind for you, Sudeep? How about you?
Oh, okay.
Did you get that, Sudeep? You froze up just for a moment there.
I think I unfroze. Can you hear me?
Okay, so the question is, what does the joy of the spirit mean to you? What does that phrase mean to you?
Yeah, so it's interesting. So let me just preface my response with this little insight that I got. When we say that the spirit is not this, it's not that, it's not emotions, it's not the ego. So when you take away all of those layers, the rational mind might think it's just emptiness then. But actually, it's not. It's not nothingness as such. It is actually, you can't describe it. It's alive. And it's joy. It's truth. Pure awareness. But I can describe the way I understand it through an experience. When I started Sahaja Yoga, and the way I came across Sahaja Yoga was through playing cricket, which I was very active in back in India. And I've played cricket through my childhood as a competitive sport and for fun, of course. But this place where I started to play cricket in this area called as Nasik, the cricket coach was a Sahaja Yogi, and he used to make everyone meditate before practice in the morning. So we used to meditate for a few minutes and then start playing. And the way I enjoyed the cricket there was like never before. Like, it was serene. It was, I can't describe it, but it was, even though it's a competitive sport, I just enjoyed it. I was just in the moment. And whether you win or lose didn't really matter so much to me. And then, of course, then the cricket stopped and the meditation continued. And I realized, and I think I continued because I felt that difference, because I felt the joy. Yeah. And I think the meditation made the difference to cricket itself. And I think it's true in life otherwise as well, because if you're meditating, you have that spirit state available to you, and it just pervades your other aspects of your life. You feel that joy that doesn't really have a condition. It doesn't have a reason. It's there. It's always available to you. So it's hard to describe it, really.
Oh no, you described it beautifully. I can just imagine it. Yeah, that's beautiful. Igor, how about you?
I guess as it's so, we so often we enjoying collectivity, we enjoying our collective gatherings, we enjoying music, and everything of that. It's manifestation of joy of the spirit, and it's again, it's if I put a mental projection on how it is and what it is, it's hard to describe, but the whole quality of our being, quality of our life, because of that joy of the spirit, this silent, very subtle feeling, it's just amazing. It just works. So it means it's the essence. It means a lot. It means very powerful experience. Whatever we experiencing in meditation, whatever we experiencing in collective seminars and activities, even working together with Sahaja yogis and people who practitioners, that's the meaning, that's the joy of the spirit.
Yes.
That's the work of the spirit, that's what makes it happy. It's make it joyful. And
right. Yeah, there's nothing else more important. And it's true, it sheds its light on everything. And so everything becomes very rich. It's a very rich experience. Even the mundane activities of life can become very rich and very, rewarding. And if we can really kind of experience it from that position of the spirit, we need to remind ourselves to do that. We need to, always be, as we were saying before, kind of tuning our instrument a little bit to get on to that, to use sort of a catchphrase, to get onto that wavelength. But it's always there waiting for us. And like you said, Igor, that's just what it wants. It just wants the joy. The spirit just wants you to be in joy and to be experiencing joy. Sure. But we have to participate, right?
Yeah.
we have to do our share.
If I may just add to that, when you have the collective spirit, the joy gets amplified when everybody is in that state. That's one of the huge benefits of coming together in meditation, and where everybody is feeling it and then is interacting with each other in that state. It's so much more. So, and Shri Mataji has talked about, the culture of the spirit, which is essentially this, where everybody is feeling that joy, which is hard to describe.
Yes.
And it's just beautiful.
Yes, so true. That's so true. Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Absolutely.
Perfect. Yeah. Well, so if we don't have any more particular prompts or questions, I think we've pretty much done the best we can to try to describe that which is indescribable. And I'm sure that many of you who are joining us this evening, are having your own versions of these experiences and are hopefully recognizing some of what we're describing. It's a very individual, at the same time, it's very individual, but it's also very universal. And that's another part, what I think is the beauty of it. It's sort of the way Shri Mataji described in the talk today about your individuality, you bring that to the collective. And it was just such a beautiful way of describing it. So with that, I think that we will close this part of this evening's session. Some of you may be off in your breakout rooms right now, but if you want to stay tuned in to this channel or to this Zoom presentation, I think that, and you want to continue to meditate or do a little bit more meditation, I think we're going to be having some music and, leaving the stream on for a few more minutes for you to enjoy if you would like to. And thank you again very much to everybody for joining this evening. That's part of where all the joy is coming from.
Always joyful to join you guys, and thank you for inviting, and it's always a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Thank you, Igor, very much for your beautiful music, and thank you, Sudeep.
You're a beautiful, you're an amazing musician also.
Yeah.
Well, that may be going a bit too far, amazing, but you know,
much more professional than I am.
Oh, I don't know.
Much more advanced.
That's not very important. That's not very important. So anyway, thank you all again for joining. Have a wonderful evening, and we hope to see you all on Sunday.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
A wonderful weekend.